Well, there's stacks
The other
in
day.
your mailbox today. This was my copy. I was going to read it. So it's in the record.
Whichever one of us has to do it as far as me or correspondence. Just mark it on that.
Okay. I almost want to open a window. It's out there. It's nice and cool outside. There's a lot of people in here.
One more.
They're locked.
It's a group effort.
They're locked. Push up.
Push up.
They're
I'm
locked.
going to turn it so it gets cooler. That's a lot of people. It'll get real hot. You do?
Yeah, there's a corner.
Does this work? I'm going to turn the air down.
Thank you. For tonight's meeting?
No, yeah, they're in charge of township. We'll split it in 5 ways, right? No, we're just gonna add,
Commercial.
commercial. Because this
Right
just
here.
covers residential.
Commercial.
We're gonna go to commercial. I gotta go turn the, power and stuff on.
I can have the speakers on.
All the recording things set. You just gotta turn these on.
Yes. Yeah, that's what. I was going to make a motion because there's so much more involved.
Which one? Just the site plan?
Commercial site plan.
I think it's right. I mean, I think everybody else is building a commercial building at $4,500.
Yeah.
Everybody else have it? Pretty good? Call meeting to order at 7:03. Stand for the pledge of allegiance. Pledge of
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Pat.
Here.
Gary.
Here.
Fletcher.
Here.
Don.
Here.
Campbell. Here.
Approval of minutes from June 8th.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Got a motion and support. All in favor of approving the minutes from June 8th? Aye.
Aye.
I have one additional item to put on the agenda tonight, just that we're gonna raise the fee for our application fee for our, for site plan review. Right now, residential is $50, and, which also has been including commercial and business, which we're gonna raise to 500 on commercial now. Mainly because of all the additional time and stuff needed to do that, so that'll be on the agenda. That's the only other additions we have to the agenda for tonight.
So we go on the fee schedule, you'd say?
Pardon? Under new business.
New business under the fees?
B. Make a motion to approve the amended agenda. Get a second?
Second.
Okay. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
We got public comment on agenda items. Might as well just move into public hearing. Zoning ordinance definition changes and additions. These have been published. And if anybody has anything they want to say, please step up to the microphone, give your name, address, and you have 3 minutes.
My name's Ron Penix. I live at 53 South Linwood Beach Road. I also own a home at 43 South Linwood Beach Road. I've been a resident at 53 South Linwood Beach Road since 1995. Oddly enough, the inspector of my home was Rick Fletcher, and who would have thought, 28 years later we'd be meeting.
Stuff changes.
Yeah, stuff changes. So, and I bought the house at 43 shortly after I bought the house in 53. And actually, I bought it for $20,000 less than somebody else offered for it. Ben Golbeski's daughter insisted that we owned it because we took care of her dad, even though there was a party that offered more money. Back then, things weren't quite like they are today, I guess. People were, a little kinder, I think. But, for the record, Roger Hoyle has tried to sell me the lot that's next to my place for many years. And I actually got a lot of praise by Bill Karbowski in 2006. At the time, Roger was asking more for the lot than it was worth. Ben and his, Bill in his opinion thought the lot wasn't even worth what it was praised for. He thought that nobody built a bill on that lot, being 56 feet wide, and thought that the lot would be of no value to anybody but myself. I kind of maintained that same thought forever. At the time, I told Roger I wasn't willing to pay what he wanted for the lot, but if he had somebody that wanted to buy that lot for the money he's asking, that I would definitely would buy it. And I always understood that I'd have the first option, the last option to buy it before he sold it to somebody else. As far as anybody knew that lot, they thought I owned it. They drove by it. There was no for sale signs on it like there was on the point, and the lot's next to Bonanza's home. And our kids grew up playing ball on that lot. Every kid in the neighborhood came and played ball. There's still a bank from when our kids rode their quads there and their snowmobiles, and it was a lot that the kids hung out on. But anyhow, it's I should have, could have, and would have, but I didn't. But being that I didn't buy that property, does it make it right for people to build 3 cabins next to my home? There was some stuff put on Facebook. The private email between Roger and I, where Roger was kind of a bit scorned, thinking that I directed my comments towards him about greed driving this whole situation. The comment wasn't directed towards him; it was directed towards the people buying it. Greed and vengeance is what kind of drove this thing. If the firework wouldn't have been discharged last year, and the Beards wouldn't have got kicked out of the campground, none of us would be here today. The Beards would probably be still sitting on the campsite they're on. The lot next to my home would be sitting there empty. Roger would probably still be badgering me to buy it. The other 2 properties would probably have this for sale sign on it, but because a firework was discharged off, they got kicked out. Immediately, it was a vengeance that they had to get even with the campground people, and And anyhow, so you know, the property next to my home, I think there should be some consideration given for, you know, commercial when it's put up to residential. I don't want to sound like I don't have concern with everybody else in the area. A lot of people are opposed to that being built. I got meeting minutes from back in 2018 when it was switched. There's a bunch of folks that were opposed to it. John Eskew, president of the Dock Association, was concerned about the fact that 72 dock owners weren't even notified of the proposed change of the zoning. Brian Rivette, a dock owner and a charter captain, was concerned about the foot traffic. Ralph Nelson would like to know how many units are going to be erected on the property and is concerned about parking. Susan Miller lives in Harborview Point of Condos. She's concerned about crime in the residential area. Ruth Andres is concerned about parties, security, property values being decreased. Bruce Wozniak, a dock owner, was concerned about the road condition. Craig Nothingale, a dock owner, concerned about the traffic and safety. Public hearing was closed. And then shortly after, the motion was approved on these parcels. May 14th, same thing. Rather than having detailed comments from everybody, this says during the public input, there were several complaints about the rezoning because the rentals will put up will cause a lot of noise, and they think people will be partying. You know, there's no detail of, you know, the amount of people that complained. It just seems like this was kind of shoved through years ago. I've looked at some laws. I talked with Mr. Banachek the other night. He said that Bangor Township tried to do the same thing, and he was opposed to it. And he was one of the reasons they didn't do it. He didn't think that was good for the community to have the ability for people to take a lot and put multi-dwellings on it. The conversation came about spot zoning. In the spot zoning, it says rezoning a property requires consistency with the community's master plan according to the Michigan Planning and Enabling Act. At the time that happened, the master plan was still continuing being modified. It almost feels like the horse was being the cart was being put before the horse. The area is small compared to district surroundings of the parcel. They talk about the new district allows land use if it's inconsistent, which is allowed in the vicinity now. Spot zone would confer with special benefit to the individual property owner not commonly enjoyed by the owners of similar property. The existing of a spot zone conflicts with policies that text in the text of the master plan and the future plan of the use map. Most important thing is consistency with the master plan. Remember, the master plan should have been prepared in extensive public engagement, and the process is intended to create a consensus vision of the future land use and infrastructure, including the future of configuration of the zoning districts. But anyway, again, my notes again are, you know, it's all driven by revenge. Again, all I can say is that if that wouldn't have happened last year, none of this would be here right now. The only way I feel like they can get this pushed through is because maybe they're connected or what have you. If you look in the dictionary, the definition of elite is a select group that's superior in terms of ability and qualities to the rest of the group or society. A group of class people seen having greatest power of influence with society, especially because of their wealth. Just being able to buy that property and think that they can just push it through without doing any due diligence is kind of, they brought that on their own self. When they were here in March trying to get a consideration for a hardship, I talked to Mr. Banachek the other night. You can't get a hardship for financial reasons. There's reasons for hardship for rezoning, and it's not because you made a mistake about property that wasn't set up. I got the email where Roger stated that the property was rezoned, but the building permits still needed to be done and everything had to go through the zoning. But anyway.
The special use permit for the cabins were tabled and never brought back up again. I read all the minutes from 2018, 5 years past that. They came up in April on the agenda, and they came up in October and November. And the only thing that was ever mentioned was just doing changing the zoning. The other stuff was tabled because I don't know why. We only have one member on this board that was here in 2008.
I asked,
The only reason I know is I took the time and went back and read all those, so I understood what was going on.
you maybe got more than I got. I got 2 sheets of paper. I asked for
I
records.
looked at, I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, and I'm gonna let you go over your 3 minutes, because I want to be able to say what you gotta say. But I looked at both the planning and the board, the township board minutes, because anything that gets passed here would go, it has to be approved by the township board, and there's no mention other than the zoning change from to C1 back in, I forget whether it was either April or October. Was the only thing that was ever done. There was no other mention after the fact of special use permit and doing anything as far as allowing the cabins. So, because I was getting bombarded by everybody and I didn't know, so I wanted to go back, let me at least see what was done, what was said, and what the minutes reflected, because that's all I got to go by.
I got 3 pages of minutes.
Yeah,
You maybe got more than I got, but
I read everything that was in the book.
I asked for specific records that are more current. I got nothing from that. Communication between Township Supervisor and Planning Commission regarding the elite, since the elite people bought the place, trying to get some of those records, but those are not available, or?
We don't have conversation between the two. They're the township board, the planning department, 2 separate entities. He doesn't tell us what to do, we don't tell him what to do.
Right, maybe you'll see that from them. All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Hello, my name is Susan Muir, and I live at Harper Green Point 71, not Miller, that's okay. I was at that meeting, at that time we were talking about the property lands and stuff, and I had made the comment about, because I'm the 2nd unit in, and those places being rentals and that, how I don't want to have to be afraid for my life of strangers coming in and out and doing things that they want to do, and we don't know these people, and we've paid a lot of money for our places. And as homeowners out there, if you took what all of our homeowners' money is worth for out there and our percentages and what we pay in taxes, I think we have a say of what should go on around us in the area. And the letters don't get sent out to everybody. They pick and choose who gets letters. I haven't gotten a letter from the township in God knows when. And I don't think that it's fair that my life and my home life that I have invested in should be disrupted by renters coming and going as they please and partying and doing as they please without us being notified of this until the very last minute. Boom. And that's really all I have to say. I really think it's not fair to the people of Glenwood. Thank you.
Just to be on record, my name is Michelle Penix, and I live at 53 South Linwood Beach Road. Not only do we have a traffic with the parking, and now that you're saying on the new agenda that there would be single parking for each cabin, regardless of the fact, and also there'd be maybe extra parking down on elevator for these customers now too. I also spoke with the fire department a little bit. I understand that we have a kind of a problem with the amount of pressure that the water line has along that way, and if this was to occur, that there could be some issues with the fire department and what they have to be able to supply in case of a fire, and that we need another fire hydrant put in, maybe another one up by the condos. I don't know all the details, but I do know that some of these things are also a part of this situation. So that would be tearing up all the roads in front of my house also, and God knows where else. So on the record for stating that, as well as the sewage and water. And I heard that the condos really didn't enjoy the noise pollution from the generators, or the odor that some of them experience, but that's just me speaking for them.
Generators for what?
From the campers that they put up on the corner lot by the condos. Been around.
They have 2
A couple
large
people have
trailers, but
visited
they've
up there.
established out there like this, and then they have a portable generator there, and the outhouse is just off to the corner and 2 golf carts.
I didn't know.
No, just an update.
Susan Merrigan, 71 Harborview Point, second unit in from there. And as she was speaking about the me being a homeowner out there in the second unit in, with these generators running, we can't have our doors open. We can't, my dog goes like spastic because we got all the noise over there. As far as the smell, I don't know what they're burning, but it's stinky, it's noisy, it's loud, and it's not, if you want to buy my unit, I mean, if you let this go through and destroy our beautiful land out there and our wildlife and all that we have and our livelihoods and everyone in this room and beyond that's invested in the peaceful living, you come on and make me an offer.
Thank you. Next.
I have something. It's a little different. 47 Harborview Point, my name's Josh King. As the board, I would hope that you guys would consider change requests of the long-term I. Changing the zoning to accommodate property density, lot coverage, and setback requirements is a serious matter, and this can set precedents for the future. So I hope you guys at least are cognizant of those requirements. Thank you.
My name is Lloyd Nonzek from 63 South Linwood Beach, and I am concerned with the lot sizes, the way the prints were laid out. When I looked at them, I know that you cannot have 3 or 4 units on those lots and have enough parking. And I don't care if they say that they're going to have people going back from Elevator Road. They're not gonna do it. I observed those trailers and those generators when they had them over there over the holiday. And if that's any indication of what's going to happen, I'm all for putting maybe 1 unit, but the one next to Penix, you can't put 3 units on that space. Common sense tells you. I'm not a builder, but I looked at those blueprints and stuff. I have real fishing rental next to it. I have trouble. I only have 1 unit. I don't have room for the guys to park. We had to make our driveway wider. Sometimes we have them park on the grass. It's going to be a problem. And if you're going to do it for somebody, you do it for everybody. And you really have to think about how it's going to affect. And then when you go to the water, the sewer, and the roads and everything else, you got a lot of traffic to the marina. It's very busy down there. They do not want those people parking on their parking area, and they've made it very clear. So I think when you take the whole big picture, you really got to look at those boundaries and why was it measured out into the water? It doesn't work. And if maybe they got it all revamped now, but you cannot put that many units on those small lots.
They haven't brought a completed set of plans to us yet.
Yeah,
Those are original, and a lot of things have changed since then, so.
But why has no one been notified?
We don't have any plans yet. There's no set of plans. They have not come in and say we want to build these. So we don't have a site plan to give to everybody. It's been revamped several times.
So why are we making these special modifications for them if you don't know exactly?
There's no okay, we're not talking about doing their stuff tonight. We're talking about the C1 classification and the cabin court thing.
Right, but the whole thing, how many other properties are we making these changes for in the county?
Exchanges.
The changes for the